Thank you.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, my name is Anita Koch, and I'm asking you, what do you think? As a Man Thinketh, written by James Allen in 1902. Think and Grow Rich, written by Napoleon Hill, published in 1937. The Power of Positive Thinking, written by Norman Vincent Peale, published in 1952. And The Magic of Thinking Big, written by David Schwartz, published in 1959. What do all of these classics have in common? They are all about the power of thought. As a man, what the mind of man can conceive and believe, he can achieve. That's a famous quote from Think and Grow Rich. And what that quote tells us is that a thought nurtured with belief will come to pass. Let me tell you a story about Nick. Nick was a big, strong, tough guy. He worked at a railroad yard. And he was pretty well liked. He came to work on time. He did his job. He was a pretty good guy. But the one thing about Nick was that he was an absolute pessimist. There was nothing that happened that wasn't bad in Nick's eyes. He worried. He just looked for the bad in everything. Well, one day, there was a big party for one of the foremen, so they decided to let all the employees go home early. Well, Nick, being the person that he was, decided he needed to stay late and make sure everything was okay. Well, in the process, he was inspecting a refrigerated boxcar that had come into the yard for maintenance. Somehow or another, he got himself locked in that boxcar. He realized, he was thinking, he said, oh my gosh, this is a refrigerated boxcar. The temperature has to be below freezing, maybe 5 or 10 degrees. What am I going to do? So he started screaming at the top of his voice. He screamed as loud and as long as he could. No one was there to hear him. He started beating on the door with his fist till his hands were bloody. Still, no one was there to hear him. He really panicked. He thought, I can't survive all night in this freezing boxcar. What are we going to do? He had a pen in his pocket. He found a piece of paper in the corner of the boxcar. He picked it up, shivering with cold, thinking he would write down his experience. And he wrote, it's so cold. My body is going numb. I don't know if I'm going to make it. And the sad thing is, he didn't. They found his crumpled body in the corner of that boxcar the next morning. And when they did the autopsy, they found he had indeed frozen to death. But the very strange thing about this story is that boxcar was in for maintenance. It wasn't even working. The night that Nick died of freezing to death, it was 61 degrees in that boxcar, just a little below normal room temperature. Nick's fear, Nick's expectation, Nick's thoughts took his life. We can use our thoughts in whatever way we choose. We can use our thoughts negatively and fearfully to create what we don't want, or we can use our thoughts positively and uplifting to create what we do want. Long before there were cell phones in the hands of everyone from middle schoolers to CEOs, Captain Kirk of Star Trek fame was communicating across the universe with a handheld wireless device. saw an interview of Stephen Jobs from a long time ago, and he had a vision that one day there would be a computer in the home of every single family in the United States. So, like a seed that grows into a plant, our thoughts grow into our reality. We truly do create our own reality. So I would encourage you to use your thoughts for what you want. Think about what you want, not what you don't want. Think about what's good and right in your world, not what's wrong. Be a positive, uplifting person. And I'll leave you with one last thought. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're absolutely right. Thank you very much.